All right, so today we are back again. We got a bit of a fun one to jump into and sort of break down here. We're talking about the selective recruitment, how to use your free pulls wisely. We're also talking about the free selector for the Pilgrim, which one to go for, and we got a gift code. So 3 topics. Let's have fun with this. Let's jet through everything, and let's see what we're cooking up with. So first, as always, let's just see. We do our daily free pulls on each one of these videos and see if we win or lose. Let me know how it's going. Let me know if you're winning on these free pulls here, but not for me. Not for me. Every year, I always pull like at least one SSR, and most of the time, it's never the rated up. So I'm hoping for my one to be something I don't have, as there's a lot I don't have. Nope, 2 misses. All right, that's how you start it. New gift code here in honor of the JP Twitter account achieving 980,000 followers, which means I expect a decent gift. This is by the official Nikke account. This is not one of those throwaway, it's going to expire gift codes. No, this is official. So if it sucks, I swear I'm going to be pissed. So this is tweeted by, again, the official Twitter account. It tweeted like an image of, I believe it was Grave and I think Cinderella sleeping. So that's what the gift code was. It is thanks for 980,000. So thanks for 980. So it's 980,000. The last gift code, I think, was 970, was an absolute failure of a gift code. Genuinely, you suck, devs, for making that code. The one before that was 300 gems or 100 gems. So I don't know why they started with gems and then they just stopped doing gems that time. But I think that maybe after all the backlash, they go back. I don't even get it. Like, this is the worst anniversary yet when it came to gift codes. Like, genuinely, this is horrible. They used to do a gift code every day for Cindy. They did a gift code almost every day for Siren. And they did gift codes almost every day for Crown. And we haven't gotten a single code since the stream. And then when we do get a code, it's for this. It's like 2 seconds at a time. If you want to redeem it, I always give it to you. Because if you want to redeem it, you want to redeem it. But that sucked balls, bro. Wow. Dude. Okay, it's fine. Let's keep going. All right, so beyond that, selective recruitment. With the selective recruitment, you pick up 10 free pulls just by logging in. I think you get 10 more somewhere else. Was it the shop or somewhere you get 10 more pulls? Because of that, you get like 20 here. Then on top of that, you get 21 free pulls, correct? Who to select, who to rate up on this banner. The best idea out of all 3 over here is first who you don't have. It doesn't matter. Who you don't have is like the best answer. So in order of the meta ones, I would say, genuinely speaking, if anything, the number 1 has to be Red Hood. Red Hood is still a universally used character. She has not seen like an insane fall off. She still is like one of the better characters. So if there's anybody you're rating up first, it genuinely has to be Red Hood. Red Hood is the go-to. So there we go. We got Red Hood out of the way. Boom, boom, pow. What's next? So now it's asking yourself, what do you need? Most of you might actually end up needing a B1. So then you would say, okay, I'm going Doro, because you kind of already have your B3 DPS. You just got Red Hood, and you must have other stuff like that too. But Modernia is still a great character. So how I would say it is, it's Red Hood, like, undoubtedly. Now, I don't have Doro and I don't have Modernia. Ask yourself, do you have something that replaces Doro? Do you have a B1? Most of the time, the answer will be yes, especially with nowadays content and nowadays the game with having litter for free and the chance to pull a lot of B1s. So if that is the case, from there you'll pretty much just say, okay, I'll go Modernia, right? That's saying like not duping. That's saying I strictly want to use these characters, right? Modernia is still a great character for low deficit. She still pushes a lot of content there too. She's still solid for high deficit too, right? Because of the AoE and everything, she's still really good there too. Doro is lesser used nowadays in bossing. I think that Modernia for fire content is still used, but there are better options and alternatives out there. So the end all is Red Hood in order to, I would say, Modernia to Doro. If you don't have a B1 and you don't have anybody who's functional at that status, then Doro is there. But it's Red Hood, Modernia into Doro. Now, if you're asking duping, I would honestly say the same thing. I would say it's a Red Hood, undoubtedly. That's why most players have Red Hood rated up here. Red Hood is still an outstanding character. That has never changed. That is still remaining to be the fact. Her core, her burst, her everything, it's genuinely very, very good. So if you're still looking at that aspect of it, she remains to be that character. And that's, again, saying it undoubtedly she's still that character. So if there's anybody you're looking forward to, I would say it'd be her on this entire wish list here. What I would also say is, I wonder now, are they going to give... So when we have our New Year's banner, you know, like they could have made this one spicier. I don't know. They could have put like crown in here and stuff like that, because it would help the 21 free pulls. So I wonder now when we have our 6 months from now banner, it'll be 21 free pulls, then 20 more free pulls, and that will be crown on there. Most likely siren, because it'll be the 2.5s, right? So is that their process moving forward now? Is the question. But yeah, for now it's a good start. But in the future it gets a lot better because a lot of the recent ones drop. And still 6 months from now, crown hasn't fallen off. You saw that clearly. Siren hasn't fallen off. You know that clearly. And then again, when there's like Brave and other stuff like that, so Cindy also has to rerun. So at some points this is gonna be really good. But for now, with the base characters, the ones that are from start of the game, Red Hood's the pick. Then Moderna, then Doro. So if that's what you're going, that's the way to do that one. When it comes to selector, so we get a free selector pretty much. That is through the login event and also through the other two being the story event. Because of that, you can select 3 different free pilgrims, one of your choice. Those 3 options are these. Pretty much, your first one is obtained over here via login event, which is the one I think you might have today. With that, you have 3 different options. Over here, you have Rapunzel, you have Snow White, and you have Chime. When it comes to these 3, who is the best one, and in order, who is the one to kind of go for? This I still think is very simply, Snow White and Rapunzel both suck. That's it, right? One sucks less. That pretty much is Snow White. Snow White sucks less. Rapunzel isn't that great. She definitely became a very, like, originally her gimmick was just a little bit weird. So because they were like, oh, is she good? No. The one who was like a really decent campaign clearer, and that's like 2 years ago when we originally talked about this. That was back then, and that was Innocent Days, right? Snow White is actually really good back then. Nowadays she's lesser because of the units and power creep and everything associated. Doesn't really hold up. But the best character, genuinely speaking, is Chime. If you have to pick one, I would say pick Chime. The only issue is, for most of you, it's like, oh, but go. I don't have crown. Why the hell would I pick Chime? And I'd still yell at you and say pick Chime. Like I'd be like, bro, pick Chime, because the other 2 aren't even worth it. If it's like, I want to at least obtain them, be my guest and obtain them, because remember, you can dupe them at any point during, I believe, the anniversary. So at least grab a copy of them. But if you don't even give a damn about that, and like you don't care, then don't, right? I would say that Chime is the best one to have. Chime is the best one to dupe. Chime is the one you're probably going to run. Remember, off of dupes, you do get to attack scaling a little bit, and because of that attack scaling, she buffs better to crown. So that is truthful, right? The other 2 being Rapunzel and Snow White, they don't really do too much. But still, it's like, I would say it's Chime into Snow White into Rapunzel. I would say if you obtain Chime for free, obviously by just getting her by logging in, then you can, and if you don't have Snow White and Rapunzel, I'd still pick them up. I would, if that's me on my account. I'd go Chime, Snow White, Rapunzel, at least have all 3. And then if there were to be one to dupe while the 200 silver ticket thing is active, it would be Chime. I would say Chime is definitely the one to go for. As I think that when testing her too, I was like, wow, that's actually really good. Yes, you are losing out on a potential B3 that does more DPS. True. Yes, you're losing out on a B2, but for most of you, it's a really fun comp, and for most of you, it would be maybe nice to have, as you might not have a full roster, and this makes a character do on par DPS with Cinderella and other characters like that. So with that knowledge in there, I think Chime is definitely the best pick here. But you do have it for free. If you've already duped out Snow White, you're like, go. Do I dupe out Chime or do I dupe out Rapunzel? Don't even touch Rapunzel. Just let Rapunzel be, bro. Just Chime. And if you're gonna ask me like, hey, is it like pick both or just Chime? If you want to have both. But you know, just Chime is the worth it one. And if you were to say it in order, like I already have, you know, Snow White or Rapunzel, vice versa, whichever. My personal opinion, in order, it would be Chime, Rapunzel. Chime, Snow White, Rapunzel. So do what you will with that knowledge. I would say that just because you don't have crown does not mean not to get crown Chime. You will have crown at some point. You will. And at least having Chime duped out and ready to go for that day is still worth it. But when is that day you'll pull crown? I don't know. Could be the same day I pull Noah. That took 2.5 years, so never forget the torture. Never forget the torture. But yeah. And you know, while I'm here, I'll just answer the question and move on. If you ask me like, hey, is any of these 3 worth pitying? I would say for the most part, like if you want to get Red Hood, get Red Hood. I would say save your pity for other stuff. These 2 really aren't worth it. Nayuta obviously is worth the pity. She is still worth the character. She's the rate up here. She is worth it. Now, when it comes to Red Hood, I'd still say pity is fine. I wouldn't say it's anything far off, but I wouldn't skip like Libralio. I wouldn't skip the New Year's unit. Like if you lose those 2 because of that, then don't do it. But maybe the 1 pity is okay if you have the ability to pity both, right? Most asking that it's like sort of whale territory, or like spend your territory. You wouldn't be like, hey, let me pity Red Hood when, you know, there's 2 still left of the year and then 2 Christmases. But if you're asking me like, hey, do I pity it? I would say it would be fine to pity Red Hood, but I wouldn't say it's a necessity. I do think that Red Hood has her replacements. You have Cinderella for B3 category, you have Scarlet for B3 category, and you have 2 more Pilgrims left. You have the potential to see the Braulio above Red Hood when it comes to DPS, and you also have the ability to further that in New Year's to see that also. So she might get a lot of different counters at that point. You also have Roppy Red Hood, right? Triple S in that same category. So that doesn't stop either, right? That's also there. So you have plenty to replace that with. So if you want it, fine. But I would say, again, just make sure you don't cuck your account with especially 2 Pilgrims left for the year. In the next 60 days, 2 Pilgrims are dropping. Remember that. So take care, have fun. I'll wrap it up there. Let me know what you think. Yeah.